Okay, so ARM has downpipes that are actually really nice, and they have their own little welded brand there, and they look really good. The welds look really good. I was very happy with them. Also, I got these downpipes for this n54 in 2 days, actually, from the day I bought them. It comes with your 2 downpipes. I have an xdrive. I couldn't find any videos online or anything for an xdrive for whatever reason. And then you get your 2 gaskets and then your bolts for the catback. Well, I won't have a cat, so whatever that means. We kind of already started, so here's what we got so far. So you're gonna have a metal belly pan right here. Those are 16s. I just used an air. And then you're gonna have another pan here. What were those, like 8s?
8mm.
Yeah, 8s. We got them all there. That's as far as we've gotten so far, but if you've ever done anything on anything before, you know that you've got to take those down, so it's kind of irrelevant to me saying that. Anyway, so this is going to be a how-to video. This is a 2008 BMW 335 Xi sedan, so it is a e90 n54 car, and I wanted to make a YouTube video on how to put your downpipes in, because I didn't find anything on downpipes. And this is Chris. Say hi, Chris.
Hey.
He owns
the downpipe.
He's lubing it
here, the 2-bolt flange, so that they'll come out nice. WD-40.
Yay. So yeah, once we get that, let's get all that lubed up and nice, we should be able to get it off. We might have to spit on it because sometimes it's easier. So this little bracket here helps hold up the exhaust. I'll have to remove that. And you don't necessarily have to remove the top side, but we're doing it because it could help
an E10
in the future. E10 for both?
Yeah.
All right. Just a quick visual on what we're gonna have to do. Give you a good zoom out here. There's the right wheel. And then going in, as you see, xdrive, it's gonna be more complicated because you have this in the way from the trans, and then the trans is a little bit wider. We're probably gonna have to drop the subframe. I know everybody says, you know, drop the subframe. We're gonna see if you can do it without it, and then deny or confirm that you can put it in and take it out without it. I'm not cutting mine because I'm selling mine on eBay. So if you want to buy these, I'm probably gonna list them for 700 bucks. If I got some watchers, I'll drop the price and send it out to them. But yeah, you gotta go way up in there. Of course, you got your O2s and stuff you have to disconnect. Oh, if you guys are curious on what the code is on mine for value purposes, you can go ahead and pause the video right here and you can check it. So of course the rest of the plastic has to be removed. Also all 8s. Try not to lose these bolts as well, because if you do, you're gonna have a saggy belly like an old drunk guy. All right, here we go. Better visual.
Before we drop the subframe, we're gonna mark the subframe alignment so that when we shove it back up in there, the whole front end doesn't necessarily have to be taken to the alignment shop and put back on the rack to realign. You may want to anyway, but if you mark it before you do it on around the mounting points on the frame, you can get it pretty close without having to get an alignment immediately.
I did not know that. Did you guys know that? Because I did not know that. I have not heard anybody say anything about that the entire time. Man, I wish I had my ARM front mount. I could go ahead and toss that in. Getting trophy gold to match the wheels. These are bronze, but the trophy gold, I think there's a way I can throw a layer like a dry layer of black over it. Turn it more of a bronze color. Bonus tip, while you're under here, these are notorious for having faulty water pumps. So I went ahead and looked at mine. Mine look like they're like it's doing okay. So I know that that's not going to be an immediate future type of thing. And as a matter of fact, it looks like it's been replaced before. So I might have lucked out with this 335. Oh. You think there's some kind of like generic EDM music we can play so I don't get like banned from posting YouTube?
Yeah, if you play any music that's
like
recognizable
trademarked
by the automatic system,
yeah,
that it'll trip your shit.
So step number almost there, dude. It's like almost at the hole.
I know.
That was weird.
Part of the video may not be safe.
Yeah, saved. That's what my thing said. So you of course have to save your engine from falling down with the subframe. Otherwise, doing this is kind of pointless. So we're gonna support the engine. If you don't have one of these trans jacks, then you're doing this in your front yard. You can always use a hoist from the top. You can get an engine bridge. Might be able to rent one. I don't know. Up to you to figure it out. If you're pulling off this job, it's kind of a big thing. But yeah, one way or another, before you start unbolting the subframe, you're gonna have to support your engine. So now, if you don't have an e-socket set, you're kind of SOL. But you're gonna need one for the bottom motor mount bolts. That was satisfying. The bottom one's also pretty easy to get to. One bolt there. Sometimes these bolts are pretty tight, so like Chris said, use a little reach around action with some lube and then get it in there and then get them out. Mine is, I guess, a little cross-threaded, so we're having kind of an issue, but nothing major. Simple stuff. Then you jack up the motor a little bit more and then you can get in here. These subframe bolts are 18ths. You have one here in the front, one here on the back. I mean, that would technically be the middle, right?
Yeah, you get that.
You've got one here in the far back. If you classify that as the back, that is the extra far back. And then the same on this side as well. Should be pretty easy to find unless you're crawling around the dirt in your front yard. Chris came up with this genius idea, get another trans jack and then support the rear subframe so that way it doesn't drop all the way down. Loosen the front subframe bolts, take the center ones out and the back ones out, so that way we can just droop the subframe down enough to gain easy access to these. And he pre-lubed these as well, so that way they're easy to get in there. Man, I really look like I'm doing nothing. All right, so plan worked. Front's still up.
She taught me how to dangle.
And now we don't even have to mark up the alignment on them either. So if you do this process, you don't have to check your alignment. You just, send it back home. All right, now that we got that open, we have easy access. Well, I wouldn't say easy access. I would just say access to the V-band clamps on the turbos. And then, of course, these were always easy to get. We knew that from the get-go.
They might need some heat.
All right, well.
I'm gonna use a 6-point on them too.
So 6-point. 12 mil for these bolts here.
6.12 mil.
Those bolts off. You can pry it. Just try not to mar the surface too much. Hopefully you got some new gaskets. with your thing there, and we can let them dangle. I don't see a real need yet to remove that, but if we get down the road, I'll let you know. And I mean, also there is a mounting bracket for these downpipes as well. I'm seeing there's a connector there. Let's see. See that? There's 1, 2, and yeah, it's just the 2 bolts. Yeah, 1 bolt for each cat there. And he says they're 13s. I think they're 12s, but if you've got one, you probably have the other, hopefully. Ooh, don't forget your O2s. They simply just pull off from there. And then the clip on them that holds them in is similar to the clip that's on the diverter valves. You just squeeze and twist counterclockwise. Or I think there's a tab there you can pull. So now you're taking the V-band clamp off the turbos. We're doing the frontward turbo first. And it is a 13. This 12 doesn't fit. 12 doesn't fit, so it is a 13. And your ratchet's loose. All right, so it's a 13. I'm through the wheel well here, looking up over the axle. You want me to hold the light? I can probably get a better view from over here. Oh, yeah. It's got mouse slobber on it. I like it. There we go. A twisting wrench here. And then the rearward turbo, you can also see through the well. You probably only have an access point through the well as well. And this would also be a good time to remove the O2 sensors, or at least break them loose while they're mounted. All right, so when loosening the O2s, if you could take a look right there, that is an O2 socket. You can also use an open-ended 22, and that will also work. Taking the V-band off with an extendo, another shorter extendo, and a spinny boy, is what he says. I like that. Also, Chris here builds ECUs custom from scratch. So if you guys need something, this one's going into a 98 turbo Tacoma. But yeah, he does real great work. Also, side note, just like the O2 sensor connections up top, which we may have not needed to disconnect, be sure to mark at least one of these. So I put some scratches on the frontward turbo downpipe, so that way I knew, which one to put it back in, because you don't want to swap them. It'll cause all sorts of wonky problems. All right, so we got the V-band out, we got the O2s out, and we had a little bit of trouble. You may experience this too, but that front V-band bolt broke. So you see how there's, yeah. So we're gonna have to tap that out and just put in a new bolt. Don't worry if that happens to you. Just, make sure you got some spare bolts ahead of time. If you're watching this before you do the process, be on the lookout. Go ahead and get some new V-bands, is what I would recommend. But after that, you just pry it off all the way around and slide it back up onto the turbo, so that way you can maneuver these around a little bit. We're seeing that maybe we'll have to drop down that plate back there that I saw. Due to this, the nature of this O2, we're probably gonna have to use an open-ended wrench. Can't get that on there. It's got a, wow. Not gonna have room once I pull this down a little bit. progress. We had to two-hand this. We loosened up the subframe bolts pretty much as slow as they'll go, and then we pulled down on the subframe and then pulled it through this hole here. A little fuzzy. Anyway, so yeah, pulled down on the subframe real good, pulled it till the cat was resting on this, twisted it 180 degrees, and then pulled it out through the front. And that's how we got the frontward downpipe down. And then now we can loosen up the bolts on this last one out here pretty easily as far as the mounting bracket goes. Just like that, real easy. And then we're gonna do O2, and we're gonna know that, see, I didn't mark this because I know that this bracket right here for passenger side is for the front, and driver side mounted is for the rear. So I always want to make note that you're putting them in the right spots, because you're gonna have to do this all over again if you put them in the wrong spots. Oh yeah, this is what we did to get this thing all the way through, is all the way up and over. So once you get the rearward turbo down, this is how we're gonna angle it. It comes down real easy. Oh! That V-band really just didn't want to be there. It's like, all right, I'm gonna head out. And there we have it, we have them out. The installation process is about the same. One thing that I have noted to watch out for is when you bolt up the front, don't tighten it down all the way. Get the from the cat or the downpipes back, get that bolted in nice and loose, and then once you get that V-band on to where you can start wrenching it down, wrench the V-bands down first, and then tighten up these bolts down here.
Make sure you check your fire rings so that whether they've fallen out or not. You don't want to lose a fire ring. If you want to replace them at this time, or if you've had an exhaust leak up here at your turbo, you're going to want to go ahead and get a new fire ring while you're at it. And the fire rings are right here. They insert into the V-band groove on the turbo side.
And ours are fine.
Yep.
All right. This is a cable clamp, so basically it's got a little arm up there. And I know the V-band's kind of a pain in the ass for everybody, so what you do once you get it on, you use this. Let's see here. All right, you see where it's clamped on right there?
Squeeze the V-band as tight as you can get it once it's lined up correctly, and then the bolt goes in easy.
Yeah, and then you just tighten it from there. Easy stuff. But yeah, that's the secret cheat code to the V-bands on here. We really didn't have too much of an issue. All right, Chris, you freaking genius. So this is a better shot, so I wanted to also get in here. Again, we're using this on the front one. You just slide it on nice and neatly. You see right there where we have the clamp holding tension on the V-band. If you take that V-band and you first slide it over the turbo, and it'll barely go on there, and then you press the face of the downpipe against the face of the turbo, and then you just pop it on, and then once you get it lined up, you might have to twist it back and forth a little bit to get it lined up, get you an extra set of eyeballs. And then once you get that on, then put your clamp on, and then you can shove a screw through the hole. And yeah, so here's our makeshift thing, because when we broke that other stud, we couldn't get it tapped out, so we went ahead and just gonna do a little screw and nut job here. Just I'm gonna grab this, wrap it up, show you what it looks like in there. I don't think we had any fitment issues. I mean,
no, ARM, it's a thumbs up in my book.
Yeah, it was pretty easy. If you have issues with fitment, just send me a message. What you do, you get the V-band on. Clack, 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 clack. You get that V-band on, and then just like a couple clicks to turn, so it won't fall off, but you can rotate the both of these. And then this, of course, I didn't have to unbolt that plate down there, so if you have to, I mean, by all means, go for it. And then you're able to move this around a little bit, can move these around a little bit. I had him push these bolt holes through. I did this one first. I mean, I pulled them both up and then stick a bolt through, and then flat washer on the bolt side, lock washer on the nut side, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. Now we're just ready to reverse the process and put everything back together, and I'll give you a start up in the next 2 seconds. All right, and if you've done everything right, of course I plugged in my O2s on the top side. We had those marked and we know where they're at. If you've done everything right, then 2.5 hours later, you should, have this result. I'm actually going to be using MHD to flash a no cat tune on there so I don't throw codes. I highly recommend you guys do the same. If you're doing this, you probably already have a stage 1, and one map pack will come with a option to click catless downpipes, so that way they can tune out the secondary O2s, which I still have installed, of course, but it just codes them so that way when they read the same, you don't throw check engine light and have engine issues. Good job, Chris.
So this is also my first experience with the startup. I'm stoked. Can't wait.
So, I'm in love. I'm in love right now. And with a touch of burble, it's the best. Yes. If you're questioning whether or not to do this mod, the answer is yes.